and welcome to the stream. My name is Mike D'Angelo, aka That Tellest Guy. We are going to be looking at a couple of maps today. I don't know how much gas I have in the tank. We had a rough night. Our one dog decided to be a nuisance. She's been jonesing for treats in the morning, and she decided that 2 o'clock was the perfect time for that. So I'm running on a little bit of fumes there, and then I had a dental procedure earlier today. That is making me a little bit tired too. So we're going to try and see what we can do to bring this all together. I'm going to shift some things around. We'll have our sponsorship early just to make sure that if I do kind of flag and I feel like I'm not able to do as good a job as I want to do, that we at least make sure that the sponsorship spot runs and that we can get some of this stuff out early. So we'll see what we can do there. I'm going to cut over to our regular recording screen and we'll see. We're going to first look at the dojo map because we did a lot of it last week, but nobody really saw the finished piece of what we were doing unless you're a $5 backer or more on the Patreon page. So let's shift over to that real quick. So this is actually a special version of the map that I just finished today. Real easy to do, really. I mean, once you have the map itself, all you have to do is add a filter. So there's actually a couple of filters at play here. There's I layered a couple of vignette filters that that give it like that nice like darker spot around the top and the bottom, and of course you can see that I made a black and white version of the map. And the reason that I did that was I kind of felt like it exuded this idea that it was like a Kurosawa film or something like that. So specifically thinking of things like Seven Samurai, it has that letterbox feel. And while this isn't a true letterbox because you don't have a black line throughout the top or the bottom of it, that vignette feel around the corners gives it that kind of vibe. So I thought that was kind of cool. Let's we're gonna take a step back from this now, and we're gonna go back to the sewers. By the way, there's a couple of other versions of the dojo that we did as a little nod to what we were working on. So, but in the meantime, let's head back to the Versali-Virai sewers that we were working on last week. I would have really liked to have gotten this done over the weekend, but my weekend was very busy. So you can see I got a lot of the shaping done. What we tried to do, we experimented a little bit with some breaks in the sewers. This descends a little bit, and we've got some some versions of things that kind of show that there was some damage. Most of what we did was we used the texture tool to give. I didn't want to do that. Good thing there's nothing saved. One of the things that we did was we played with the texture tool to give it that kind of grungy, gross, grimy look. And then we cleaned things up around like this step up. This is supposed to kind of signify what it looks like when you take a step up. This is clean. The pipes haven't landed in there or anything like that. So decent amount of stuff that we were able to do off camera. You'll notice that I use these kind of like bended sides. The original map didn't have anything that bent or anything like that, so I wanted to have these kind of curved pieces. It makes things look nicer. I didn't want to do everything all at once and leave things so that I couldn't show them off and show you what it looked like. So what we'll do is we'll use the time that we have to start to fill in some of these other spots. You'll notice again the tiles themselves are still here when we're using this texture, but you lose a lot of that grit and grime. It's still going to be mildewy, it's still going to be kind of gross, but it's not going to be as gross as if you take a step down off this little path. So let's fill in some of these details. Like I said, I got a dental procedure today, so I might be a little bit more quiet than I usually am, just to give my my jaw a rest. And we're just going to save here and there. So you'll notice around the top and bottom of this section, I'm not going to get rid of everything entirely. So like, again, we kind of see this little step terminate, and I want to give like the illusion of height. So I'm not going to get rid of this. It's almost like you take a step up into this and it'll have like a nice little ramp feel. and we'll put more grime on the bottom layer to make it look like, you know, there's some places where there's dents and things like that, so it's not uniform in the way that the grime is presented. So pretty easy to do this kind of stuff. I'll probably have some questions for whoever's in the chat. Rihanna, it might honestly just be you, and that's okay. But I'm going to have some questions about, you know, what to do with like pipes and things like that, so we'll discuss that a little bit more as we go. Let's head back the other way and clean this up so we don't forget about it. Okay, that's good. So this general area of the sewers has been cleaned up pretty well. We'll come down here and clean up this side until maybe we'll clear out here. We'll do a real quick sponsor shot, and then we'll see how much gas I still have in the tank. I'm going to try and see if we can get as much of this done today as possible, because we do know that we still have, I want to do 1 or 2 variants. Maybe we'll fill up some of these areas with a little bit more sewer water and give it some depth and things like that. So same thing I did elsewhere. We're going to make it so that up here looks like a step up. It doesn't look like it immediately becomes clean and everything like that. I'm doing more than I said I was going to, but sometimes it just can't be helped. Come up here and clean this up a little bit. That's good. We'll leave that bend, but I want to make sure that we have a little bit here. And let's do a save. So Rihanna, I'm going to actually ask you a question, and then we'll go to the sponsor spot real quick, and you can muse on it when we go to when we come back from the sponsor shot. So Rihanna was a player in this session, so she has kind of some insight into it in some ways. So we have these pipes here that kind of terminate into nowhere, and I feel like we'll probably leave those. But down here, we've got pipes that clearly kind of would connect if we extended them. In our original map, I just kind of let them there. But Rihanna, do you think that we should have these connect? Mull it over, and then we'll think about it after we get back from the sponsor shot. Give me 1 second. An epic fantasy with a slight Nordic flavor, The Chronicles of Atlan, The Butcher of the Eternal Forest by J.A. Bergloff could just become your next favorite saga. Featuring a world steeped in magic and majesty, the author demonstrates a great deal of passion for their story, and a great respect for the genre. That said, things might appear a bit bigger than you might expect. Bergloff's characters are booming and bombastic, and the scope of his work is massive. With a sequel in the works, there's never been a better time to learn more. Check out the promo on the Tellest website today. Alrighty. So Rihanna, what do you think about all that? Do you think that it's a good idea to connect these pipes, or do you think that it kind of makes sense to leave it open and leave it up to, let's see, have them connect but leave a gap or make it look broken or something so that getting through is a challenge? There might be something that I can do when it comes to that. Let's see what we got if we go into the sewers. Alright, so we've got these closed sewer pipes that have not a lot of damage that we can see or anything like that. I'll tell you what, Rihanna, I like your idea. I'm going to try and see if we can do some kind of damage to it, but we might do that on an alternate map. So I'll take it into consideration for sure, and we'll see what we can do from there when we get to it. But at least for now, I have another idea that we'll try and exercise. So let's see. Those match up. Keep on going. I like how they did match up over here, but not over here. And I hear our yappiest dog out there yapping. Give me 1 second. They're yapping a lot, and I think I just heard a neighbor yell at them. Ah, there's a cute puppy walking by. They're talking. Good times. Rihanna's on it. She's got this. She don't got it. Sometimes those doggies just do not listen. Bunch of rotten punks. Alright. This doesn't look right, so we're going to clean that up a bit. But, so we're going to have it like this, and then it'll kind of look a little bit better, imagining that the pipe will terminate up here. So, let's see. Do a little bit extra at the side. I think that might be the wrong direction. No, I like it better the other way. Something like that. Let's save that because we made a decent amount of changes. I saw the big puppy. It was a cute puppy. The lady walking him. Okay, let's go back to cleaning this stuff up. Oh yeah, I know. It looked like she could barely contain it. Yeah, see, we lose a little bit there, so I'm going to shrink this down just to make sure that I don't cut over into it too much. And we're going to do the same thing that we've been doing, where we have a little bit of something like that, so it looks like it steps up. That yappy dog down there. She was almost like a kite, wasn't she? Almost flying in the wind. Alright. So I think this gets us to the point where, for the most part, like that clean bit, that's done. Let's take an individual look and an assessment at what we have, and we'll start to put a little bit more like grime into place in certain spots. So I decided there's got to be some semblance that something else is here in the sewers besides the players. So I made like a pile of fish here that, you know, there's all kinds of blood and everything. Let's change the opacity a little bit and make it look like that's not like super fresh. Got a little bit of dried blood there. We've got some mushrooms and lichen and stuff over here. I put together some rubble because clearly there should have been, you know, walls here at one point. So this got, you know, beat up. So we've got mushrooms, we've got, you know, plant life and everything like that. I was going to put, they have like tree roots that you can do. I didn't want to do that because I didn't want to imply that there was too much plant life in Versali-Virai up above. We can see there's not a lot of trees or anything like that. It's an arid territory, so we didn't want to do too much there. Oh, you know what? I missed this. Let me clean this up real quick. There we go. And let's see. So the idea for the pipes over here is kind of twofold. If you had tiny characters in your campaign, in theory, you could have them squeeze through here, come around back, and then attack whatever's in the way over here. The other thing was, when we ran our campaign, we had, when our players went topside and saw this guy's house and found his notes and everything, he made mention of were-rats being in the sewers. And just like werewolves, silver does more damage to them. So there was, he had put a silver knife in the pipe so that he could make use of it if the were-rats ever gave him a problem. But the issue was there was like a torrential rain or something one day, and it ended up forcing the knife down this pipe, and it would have ended up lodged over here. So the players knew, hey, there's a way for us to do something to get down here. Or they could have done something where it was a little bit more puzzly. They could see it like halfway in between, and they got like a bucket or something like that and washed it through, and they knew that it would have deposited over here. It's just a fun little way to add a little bit more of a dynamic feel to the game, make the players feel a little bit more involved, that sort of thing. So if we come back in here, we've got this kind of, you know, soupy looking water. Doing it like that is not going to be a great look. We might be able to do something like that if we came to, like, let's try it out real quick. This is not going to be the map that we do it on, but you could do something like this where you go to like a 33% opacity, and you can see like it starts to kind of feel a little bit more filled in. I would probably play with it a little bit differently because I'm not a huge fan of the way that looks, and it's most likely just because of the way that it snaps. So like if I snapped and then I did something like this, it's still not great, but it feels a little bit more natural than the bigger squares that we had. So it looks like it's starting to overflow. We could go even further with it. Something like that. Make it look like you're splashing around in the area and stuff like that. Like I said, probably not going to do that for this version of the map, but we might do an alternate where we do something like that. But in the meantime, what we want to do is kind of splash that down in a, let's see what it looks like when we have it like so. I feel like that's a much nicer look. Rihanna sent me a picture, so I'm going to take a second to see what it is. I think it's Maisie being extra cute. Oh man, she looks so adorable. I don't know if the interwebs is going to be able to see it, but we'll see. My standard definition camera can pick that up. Look at Maisie. Look how cute she is. So Rihanna, what did you do to warrant such love from the Maisie? All right, so we got those little splashes of grossness. I actually kind of liked that little bit that we added at the end there, so we're going to keep that, and then we're going to keep on doing that in a couple of other places. Little splatters of grossness. She just wants uppies. Good old doggo. Alright, so this, again, because we have like these little height disparities, what we're going to do is kind of this sort of thing. And I think the pier, what is going on with the pier that it's not showing up there? Oh, you know what it is? It's because it's not ground, it's a stamp. So what we'll do is we'll throw a little bit on the top there. Can't go that far with it though. It's the one thing about like the rough tool. It doesn't really lend itself to stamps so easily. Now the good news is we can get rid of that later if we need to. Alright, we're going to keep on going down the line. We know that this is going to descend into whatever chaos over there. So we'll start it like there. And we'll kind of terminate it over here. We're going to make it look like it's going downhill. And one more time, we're going to go to the top layer. Throw some stuff together here. Looks like slime is coming out of the darn place. So that's a nice little set right there, I think. So let's see if we have like any trash or debris or anything that we can use. I feel like they don't have a lot that you can use, but we might be able to find some stuff we can go and use. So we've got stuff from the dungeons. We've got these trash piles. These debris piles, they actually might fit what we're trying to do. We're going to try out a couple different ones and see if we like anything better than the other. I feel like they're very dense. Let's try something like this. We're going to get rid of the shadow. We're going to turn it somewhat. So I don't want any shadow, and the reason that I don't want any shadow is because it's going to kind of ruin the illusion that I'm going to be making with the puddles underneath. You know what? So we're going to specifically keep it on the right side, a little bit heavier. And let's see if we can find a knife that we can use real quick. We got like cutlery and stuff like that. Let's see if we can find a weapon instead. So this holy dagger, I feel like it fits the bill of what we're trying to do. So right now it doesn't look like much, but when we go high def, it might change the way that things look. So we can do something like that. We might even switch the way that we have the orientation of everything over here. Let's give that a try. And ooh. And this way we can kind of make it look like the debris is gunking up the spot. Knife is still there. Looks like if we move it over here, it might serve us a little better. Got that there. So that helps tell our narrative a little bit better. Let's see. So we got a lot of gunk in this sewer now. It feels a little bit more vibrant, even if it looks a little bit grosser. Let's do a couple more of those splashes of ick over here. Turn it down a little bit because I don't want it to go too far into some of the other areas, but I'll do something like that. Again, we're trying to give like this illusion of like elevation and stuff like that, so adding things like this helps to sell that idea. We should really fill in a lot of this stuff. Let's do this. I like the kind of darkened look that we have there, so let's take this. We're going to make the brightness for this gunk lower in there as well. And let's take it another node and we'll go here and just fill everything in. Nope, we want to snap it. And let's take a look at the placement. That should be fine. We're going to drop this down to 2. And we'll do the same thing down here. It looks almost insignificant, but it's, you know, even those little bits help a lot. So I wonder if we can do, I don't want to look in the textures, but let's look at, see if maybe we could put some kind of plant matter floating on top. Got some sewer slime and stuff that we can do. Maybe we can fill the area in with that. Throw together some gunk. Let's see. Tell you what, we'll put this this one down here if we've got enough room for it. It's brighter than I thought it was going to be. Let's change the opacity of that one a smidge. Something like that. Again, just telling a little bit of a story with what we're playing with. We've got some of this. Let's darken this up as well. Same thing. I think I have a visitor. Hi, Zelda. You want to come up? You ready? I'll help you up, okay? Oh, you want to be famous for a little bit? Good doggy. Alrighty, let's put you on the chat. Ready? Say hello, Zelda. Say hello. Good doggy. You gonna let me sleep tonight? That would be really nice if you would. You wanna wave to the people? There you go. She wanted uppies too. Alright, back over here. Got the gunk. The nice thing about turning that a little bit gunkier was we can see the dagger kind of coming through a little bit. A cute old lady or a cute old baby? Or both? You okay, Zelda? You alright? Oh, you wagging your tail? You happy? Alright, let's take a look at this real quick. Like I said, I have a feeling it's going to be a quick episode. I'm pretty happy with what we have. Let's change the color of these, or the opacity of these for the same reason. If we drop these down, I feel like it'll add character without changing the feel of too much of that stuff. So we've got that. Let's look at the sewer stuff one more time, just to see if there's anything else that I would add that kind of gives it a little panache. I don't really like too much more of the sewer set that we have, so this might be where we call it. Like I said, we're definitely going to do some variants that will add to the Patreon. I'm seeing one little thing that I want to change. So we know that we have a smaller section here. I'm going to move this over. And throw these in here in the center. Let's see. There we go. I think that just looks better centered. So take a look. Yeah, I think this is pretty good. There's always like the dingy. We are back in the sewer, but only for a couple minutes. You showed up just in time to have me pass out and go to bed. The one thing about like the dingy looking maps like this and the cemetery that we did, it feels hard to give them like a more vibrant appearance in some cases. Like you try and add like little things here and there, but just by their nature, like they're gross, they're grimy, so it has like an eyesore kind of feel. But in any case, before we completely drop off today, I wanted to show you what we have next coming up this week. Let me zoom in because I don't want to show too much, but I mean, it doesn't matter. You guys are going to see it at the end of the day anyway. But so I've got like a harrowing couple of weeks coming up because, as you all know, the indoor maps are not the things that I'm best at. So we have the eastern wing of the Forgotten Keep coming up. Now this was the original version, so we know that there's going to be some things that change, and so much of this I don't even remember anymore. So there's going to have to be some things that we tweak. So we've got, this is where we're going to start. We're going to bring our characters through these two rooms. Very likely that what I'm going to do is make like a room over here and then some kind of like connective tissue into here. So this would be like a secret door back into the main room that people could go to a little bit easier, so they don't have to go through this puzzle room again. This puzzle room is called Primal Fire. The idea is for more of your like puzzle suited players, they'll start to realize these rooms have prime numbers written on some of the tiles, and those tiles, when they get close to them, will raise up and protect them from like this ring of fire that ends up getting flung through the room. It's just, you know, it's nothing huge or anything like that, but it changes the style of an encounter from battle to, okay, let's look at this puzzle. It's also a trap that happens to go off at a fairly regular interval. Gives you a little bit of time to, you know, experience things a little bit differently there. And then you can see what we have here is just a 13 by 33. So we have enough room to do, you know, a little bit of stuff on either side. So, and then we'll head down to the basement. The basement level will be one of the variants that we have on the Tellest Patreon, and we'll just kind of go from there. So, Sean, I didn't want to cut out so quickly once you arrived. So, did you have any questions about what you saw in the sewers? Do you want me to head back to the dojo real quick so you can see the Kurosawa look that we had earlier? In the meanwhile, I'll be petting Zelda, who seems to be having a good time. You good, doggy? You good, girl? Yeah, you seem happy. Alright, let's head back to the dojo real quick. Go back to our folders. So this was the one that I showed off today. It's not on the Patreon yet, but it'll be on there tomorrow. This is, I decided to add some vignettes and some black and white filter to it to give it that like Seven Samurai kind of feel. Not too often that you see a black and white map from me, and clearly it was a filter. I wouldn't have been able to pull this off the right way if I was just messing with the saturation, I think. But even here, like, you can see like some distinctive differences in like the quote unquote like light side of the map and the dark side of the map. And then just for anybody who wants to see the finished version of the map by itself without any filters or anything, this was where we ended up. Did some pretty cool stuff. Yeah, it is a little bit Master Splinter, isn't it? This was Splinter when he was a human. The other one was Splinter when he got turned into the giant rat. Or you know what? He wasn't a human. He was, at least as far as the original movies were concerned, he was always a rat watching his master, right? You okay, Zelda? You're okay. Alright, time to hydrate. Time to let Zelda down. Good doggy. Alright. Time to close up the show. Alright, so let's head over and... Folks, I wanted to thank you for watching my stream today. On the screen now, you should see all the places you can find Tellest and That's Entertainment content. To find anything out about the Tellest Fantasy Universe, you can go to Tellest.com. For the battle maps my brother and I create, you can go to Patreon.com/Tellest. To see my streams live, be sure to check me out on Twitch.tv/ThatTellestGuy. To see all the streams I've ever strummed for Maps and Talking Tellest, you can check out my YouTube channel at youtube.com/@WorldOfTellest. To find all of our awesome merchandise, including high-quality mouse pads, handcrafted magic wands, battle maps, posters, and more, head to our shop at Tellest.Etsy.com, and you can also be sure to check out TikTok for Full House of Fluff, which is our doggy's channel. Zelda clearly came up here to tell me to tell you all that today. So we will leave it at that for now. I got my dog sniffing around still. She's telling me it's time to go to bed since she was the reason that I didn't get much sleep last night. We'll call it there. Thank you for joining. I'll miss you.